brace yourself. Winter is coming. This would probably work better with the Game of Thrones thing in the background, but I'm probably going to get all sorts of copyright stuff jumping all over me. And by the time I get this up, winter's probably already here, but the theory was there. Let's do this. Welcome back to Kiwi Dad's Kitchen. I'm Kyle Willoughby. I am a Kiwi Dad. This is my kitchen. And on this week's episode, we're going for more of that winter warmer feel because the weather's cooling down outside and we're kind of getting to that period of the year where we're wanting something a little bit more flavoursome, a little bit more hearty, a little bit more just homey feeling. So this week we're making a beef and Guinness pie. Sort of. I'll show you. So ingredients wise, it's pretty basic. We've got your carrot, onion, some frozen peas, a little bit of just plain flour. Now it says 500 mils of beef stock. I use these beef stock cubes, the continental ones, and I find these are really good, so I just top that up with some cold water. Worcestershire sauce, got it the first time. A bit of salt and pepper. Now as I say, it's a beef and Guinness pie, but when I went to the supermarket, they didn't have Guinness in stock, so I had to improvise. Basically what you're looking for is a stout of some description or a dark beer. So just a basic stout. You're looking for those rich, delicious flavors, and something like this will do the job equally as well. So again, it's a case of using what you can get your hands on when you can't get your hands on everything you exactly need. So of course the good thing with having so few ingredients is there's not actually a heck of a lot of prep involved. Basically we just want to dice these carrots up. Now if you've got a larger carrot, you can just use the one carrot. It's pretty much just sort of the volume of ingredients that you want. Now, if you want to peel the carrot, go ahead and peel the carrot. That's entirely up to you. We're not here to judge. This is just the way I do things. So we're just going to cut the carrot down, and you want to go for a reasonably fine dice. So usually go down into planks much like this, and then we, behave yourself, hacky slashy the planks, and then just dice them up from there. So doesn't have to be perfect, to just smaller than it was. So we're just going to go ahead and dice these carrots up because we're going to want these flavors going all through the mince, which I completely forgot to mention. Obviously if we're doing a beef and Guinness pie, you're going to want some meat as well. So 500 grams of mince. Now there's a number of different recipes out there. You can use things like chuck steak or casserole beef or casserole steak, things along those lines. I've gone for this recipe here because it's reasonably quick, fairly easy, and well, let's be honest, involves the least amount of prep possible. So and that's basically what we're going for there, is just a nice, reasonably small dice to get into the fry pan. So we want this to go through all the meat and just absorb all those flavors. Because God, it'll taste good. Just going to cut this dude down. Now again, you've probably seen multiple different ways of dicing your veggies and so forth. This is what I do. Go with what works for you. And I say that advisedly because we're doing the onion next. Goes over there. And again, if you want to peel the carrot, go ahead and peel the carrot. I usually don't bother because I feel like a lot of the flavors and so forth are in the skins of the food as well. Obviously we peel the onions. So now while you're doing this, you want to get the oven preheating to around 200 degrees Celsius, which is something or other in Fahrenheit if you're watching from North America. Remember last week I was talking about not needing to do the conversions, so there we go. Right, so that's your carrots done. Get back up there. Onions wise, if you're watching this, you've probably watched different cooking shows, you will have seen 11 bajillion ways of cutting your onion. This is what I do to get that nice fine dice. You can do the Gordon Ramsay method, you can do the Jamie Oliver method, you can do the Stephen Cusado method, you can do the binging with Babish method, do whatever works for you. Again, we are just going for that reasonably fine dice, because again, we're going to want to have all of these flavors kind of intermingling with each other. I have heard tale of leaving the tail of the onion on stops the juices coming out so that you don't cry. Personally, I think that's a load of rubbish, but we dare to dream. Just cut this chap down here. My eyes are stinging already, so I'm pretty sure this method doesn't make a blind difference to crying. It's an occupational hazard with onions. You just accept it. There we go. So we've got those diced down fairly finely. And that's pretty much the bulk of the meal prep, or the veggie prep done. So yeah, let's get over to the oven. So yeah, as I said, you're probably going to want to throw some meat into the conversation as well. So I've got about 500 grams of mince just here. And let's get this cooking. So I'm going to get that fry pan up to a nice high heat and just get a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon's worth, teaspoon's worth. You want some olive oil in there. Remember, some is a perfectly acceptable measurement when you're cooking food. So we're going to want to let that warm up a little bit while we get our meat organised. Okay, so once we've got that oil nice and heated, I'm just going to throw these veggies in and just cook them out for a little bit so that they get nice and soft. Oh, that smells good already. Just cooking those till they're just nice and soft. Actually, just in there for about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just going to gently introduce that meat, break that meat up. I'm going to cook this for about 5 minutes till that beef's nice and brown. So just moving it around your fry pan there. So we're starting to get that beef nice and browned. Cook all that moisture out of it as well. And you'll hear as you go further into that cooking process that the meat kind of goes from a bubble to a sizzle, which is what you're aiming for. This is when you start to really get that nice browning action going on, get that nice kind of caramelization on that meat. This is going to start to taste real good. Okay, and after about 5 minutes, we're getting to that nice brown stage. Mince is smelling good. This is where you need to be a little bit quick. So we're going to throw in our frozen peas, about half a cup's worth, give or take. We're going to throw in some of our Worcestershire sauce. Teaspoon-ish. And our quarter cup of plain flour. Just mix that in for about a minute. So you're almost making a roux, kind of, sort of, maybe. Just going to get that on all that meat and cook some of that raw flour flavour out. Now this is where you need an extra couple of dozen pairs of hands, so we just want to cook that for a little bit more. You start to see some of that fond developing on the bottom of the fry pan, that lovely sort of burnt flavouring. We're going to want to get all that up, so we're going to need to deglaze this pan. So first of all, now, as I said, I use these stock pot cubey things from Continental. Come on, out you go. Out you go. Never work with animals, children, and stock pots. There we go. Now, because I'm using that, I'm going to want to add a bit more water, but first of all, we're going to add in about a half cup of our stout. So let's just get that in there and listen to this. So I'm going to throw in a little bit of extra fluid with that stock pot. Oh, that smell! Okay, and we're just going to mix all this together, and we're going to throw in some salt and pepper, because obviously this is nothing without seasoning. So just salt and pepper to taste, and then we're just going to mix that all in, get all those lovely flavours married into each other, and we're going to let that thicken up. So that should only take a few minutes. Oh my god, it smells good. Like a proper Irish stew. I'm going to need to edit that bit out. Like a proper Irish stew. Sort of. And just, you can smell the flavours of that stout coming through already. It is really, really good. You can see it's starting to thicken up nicely. So you've got that gravy effect going on. So I'm just going to cook this through a little bit longer. And as you can see, we're also deglazing the bottom of that pan as well, so we're getting all those lovely flavours that are in the bottom of the pan up into the meat. And honestly, I could stand here and smell this all day. Just going to give it a quick taste for seasoning and so forth. Just adjust those seasonings till you get them where you want them. So always be willing to add in extra salt and pepper where you need to. So start small, build up. You can always add more. Oh, this smells good. Just give that a quick check. Hot fella. So now we need to get the pie sorted out. Okay, so to make your flaky puff pastry, you're going to get a half a cup of, I'm kidding, nobody's got time for that. Let's face it, we're totally taking the easy way out. Frozen pastry sheets from your freezer in your supermarket, it's the way to go. Glass pie dish on a black background. Didn't think this one through, did I? Anyway, you're going to go ahead and grease your pie dish, and then, now if you've done like me and you've got those square sheets, you're going to have to jigsaw this a little bit. But just get those pastry sheets, lay it in, nice and easy, and cut them to suit as best as you can. So then it's just a case of getting our lovely delicious filling here into our waiting pie crust. I can't wait for this to be cooked. Okay. And just now again, using the square pastry sheets, you'll need to improvise a little bit, but just going to go ahead and cover that bad boy. I've got a little bit of the old vent hole action going on. I'm just going to take a fork and just press around the edges of our pie dish here. Just kind of seal everything up. Yeah, the cuts are a little off center, but never mind. You get the general idea. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of trim off the excess pastry here. Probably gone a little over enthusiastic with the pastry, but never mind. Just trim this up. And you can just kind of ball this stuff up and use it for other recipes, because it's still just perfectly good pastry. Chop these little loose edges here off, tidy it up a little bit. You don't have to get too carried away with the tidiness. There we go. And then the final step in the process for me is just a bit of an egg wash. So that's just a single egg that I've whipped up, and just brush that on nice and easy like. Dum-dee-dum-dum-dee-dum-dum. Just gives us a nice crunchy pastry on the top at the end of this, and just tastes good. Okay. And that is going in the oven for about 30 minutes. So, into the oven that's been preheated to 200 degrees Celsius. In you go. I'm going to go ahead and set that timer for 30 minutes. Zip-a-wee. Game on. So about 20 minutes, half an hour later, I'm going to get this delicious, come here to me, and look at that. Smells good. Just, oh, so many good things about this. The tricky thing will be actually pausing long enough to let it cool down so that you can eat it without burning the roof of your mouth. Good luck with that. But that right there is heaven in a pie crust. It is absolutely delicious, and I cannot wait to hack into this. I have to, but I don't want to. So serving wise, it's pretty much up to your individual tastes again. So I've done it here with mashed potatoes and steamed veggies. Again, just kind of getting those nutrients and so forth in. You can do it with chips and peas, the pie pudding pea. Please yourself. It's really entirely up to you. Basically, what you've got here is, as I said, heaven in a pie crust. So I hope you enjoy it. Basically, what you've got here is an absolutely delicious meal that can be served right throughout winter. And you've got plenty of leftovers as well if you're lucky, so that'll do you for a couple of days. It is so good, so easy, and so delicious. And that's it for another week of Kiwi Dad's Kitchen. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Do please get out there, have a try with it, and let me know how you go. And as always, please do like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate the support. Remember, I've also got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And that's it for another episode of Kiwi Dad's Kitchen. Until we meet again, remember, summer's a perfectly acceptable ingredient while you're cooking, so get in the kitchen and have some fun. See you next time.